the Affordable Care Act?
The Affordable Care Act is Obamacare, genius. I just had a patient say to me, thank God Trump was elected and we can get rid of this stupid Obamacare and go back to the ACA. Oh, I love being in my reputation era while they're in there fuck around and find out.
And which plan do you support? Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act?
The Affordable Care Act.
And what is it about Obamacare that you do not like?
I just think that there's a lot of holes in it and it needs to be revamped.
What do you agree with? Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act?
I'm more sort towards the Affordable Care Act.
So the Affordable Health Care Act is still a better option than
Yes.
Obamacare?
Yes.
So the Affordable Care Act is more affordable than Obamacare?
Just the name says it all.
Do you agree with the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare?
The affordable.
And why do you prefer the Affordable Care Act over Obamacare?
I just don't agree with the whole Obamacare policy thing that's going on. I just don't agree with it.
Do you support Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act?
I guess the Affordable Care Act?
And why do you prefer the Affordable Care Act over Obamacare?
I'm not really sure. My girlfriend supports Trump, so I go with whatever she says.
So you disagree with Obamacare?
Yes, I do.
Do you think insurance companies should be able to exclude people with pre-existing conditions?
No.
Do you agree that young people should be able to stay on their parents' plans until they are 26?
They should be able to, yes.
Do you agree that companies with 50 or more employees should provide health care?
I do.
And so, by that logic, you would be for the Affordable Care Act?
Yes.
What plan do you support, Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act?
The Affordable Care Act.
And why do you support that over Obamacare?
I do not like Obamacare. I don't like anything that has to be forced for everybody to buy. This is not good.
Do you think Obamacare is socialist?
Yes, I do.
Do you think the Affordable Care Act is socialist?
No.
A poll that was taken by NBC News shows a clear message: a majority of Trump supporters back extending Obamacare subsidies. Most of President Donald Trump supporters back keeping enhanced subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, which is Obamacare. The central obstacle in the ending government shutdown, according to the new poll from the Nonpartisan Health Policy Research Group. It was conducted on September 23rd through September 29th, just days before Congress failed to pass a funding measure to keep the government open. More than 22 million people receive subsidies, which are set to expire at the end of the year unless Congress extends them. Losing the subsidies could mean the average out-of-pocket premium payment could double in 2026 from $888 a year to $1,904. You fucks make my buttocks itch so bad.
I cannot believe in the year of our Lord 2025, in the United States of America, there are people who live in this country who do not know that Obamacare was a slur by the Republicans for the ACA. I can't believe it. You know, the world used to think that Americans were intelligent and smart. But because of this TikTok, the world now realizes that Americans are easily manipulated, lied to, and they just absorb it into their brain.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene says Democrats are right about demanding subsidies for the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, and Obamacare be extended. Let me show you her clip.
And to allow Democrats to have some sort of moral high ground on this issue because they're the only ones talking about it, I think is a major failure from the Republican Party. And I'm not going to stand there and just keep talking the talking points when my own adult children can hardly afford health insurance premiums, when everyone in my district, it's the number one issue that I hear about day in and day out, not just people on the ACA, but people that have private insurance as well. And I think it's something that we have to talk about.
Undocumented immigrants in the United States cannot receive health insurance from Obamacare, from Medicaid, from Medicare. They are barred from doing so, okay? And the Republicans, all of the maggots, are saying that Democrats didn't want to vote on the spending bill that would have kept the government open because they're dying on the hill of giving health care to illegals. No, the reason the government is shutting down is because the Democrats refused to join a vote on the spending bill that would keep the government open, or would reopen it at this point. Why? Because MAGA wants to gut healthcare in this country
policies that ultimately harm them, only to later realize what they've lost. The story of Maga supporters discovering they voted against their own healthcare has become a stunning example of how misinformation, identity politics, and sheer stubbornness can shape an entire nation's well-being. Before we proceed, all credit goes to the creators of these videos. Let's watch a few more clips, and I'll be back with more commentary.
Hold up. Y'all actually didn't know Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act are one and the same? Y'all made up the name. Y'all made it up. Y'all started calling it Obamacare. But it had a name first. The name has always been the Affordable Care Act. Then y'all named it Obamacare. Did you forget? See, this is how I know y'all just hating indiscriminately. Y'all don't even know what y'all be hating. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, he was black. That's what y'all didn't like. Why y'all ain't just look it up? Why you ain't just look it up? I guess so.
Okay, guys, we gotta take it easy on MAGA. I mean, yes, sure, they falsely believe that Democrats want to give health benefits to the undocumented migrants, even though it has always been a federal law that states that undocumented migrants do not get access to the ACA. But speaking of the ACA, guys, you got to remember who we're talking to. We're talking to people who have willful ignorance. They won't research anything. I mean, don't forget, these are literally the same group of people who thought that Obamacare and the ACA were two completely different programs. Okay, so you got to understand the intelligence level that they have and what you're trying to compete with. I mean, nobody can stoop down to a level that damn low when you just oh, it's comical at times, but also sad at times because like they truly do not know how to think for themselves. I mean, whatever Mike Johnson says, because they're just not intelligent. I mean, that is the reason why Trump loves them so much and Trump hates us. Remember what he said, smart people don't like me. And notice how all the people that like Trump are not the smart ones?
Across social media, countless Americans are now expressing frustration, not just with politicians, but with their own friends and family members who, out of loyalty to a political brand, turn their backs on something that directly benefited them: affordable healthcare. The Affordable Care Act, widely known as the ACA, was designed to make health insurance accessible to millions of Americans who otherwise couldn't afford it. What they didn't realize was that Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act are literally the same thing. It sounds unbelievable, but countless interviews and street surveys over the past decade have revealed just that. When asked if they supported the Affordable Care Act, many Trump supporters said yes. But when asked about Obamacare, they angrily said no, not realizing they were the same law. The only
Healthcare in America is very expensive. That is the reality. That's the reason why it is very important for a family, individual, to have an health insurance in America. Otherwise, you'll not be able to go to the hospital. You'll not be able to afford the medicine. You'll not be able to see a doctor. That is the reality. And now we are talking about the Affordable Care Act. What is Affordable Care Act? This is a health insurance act that was passed to help millions of America who cannot afford health insurance without the subsidies from the government. That is the reality. But now this Affordable Care Act is in trouble. Why? Because people decided to do away with it. People know Affordable Care Act as Obamacare Act, forgetting that Affordable Care Act is the same as Obamacare Act. When Obama was the president of America, he did pass this Affordable Care Act as a bill, and it was passed in the House of Senate and Congress. But the Republicans came and named it as Obamacare Act. Now, majority of Americans, millions of Americans who are depending on this Affordable Care Act, this health insurance that is helping millions and millions of middle class and lower class to afford going to the hospital, they voted against it. They are saying they don't want anything to do with Obamacare, forgetting that It is one the same thing. So what's gonna happen? Who is to be blamed? The reality is majority of Americans, they're easily manipulated. If you go through the campaign time, usually there's a lot of information, misinformation that are fed on Americans. And as a result, this is what happened. You are being told majority of families, majority of Americans who literally are depending on this livelihood of Health Insurance Act to be able to take care of their kids to school, to the hospital, to be able to afford medicine, this life supporting medicine. Some families literally, they're coming in and they're saying right now, they're crying, they're saying if we don't have this type of medicine, we cannot afford it without this Affordable Care Act. We cannot afford to see a doctor without this Affordable Care Act. Yet they voted against this program. They went and voted against this program, and majority of them come from the red state. Yes, most of the middle class, lower class across America, majority of families that are benefiting from this healthcare are the ones who come from the red state, and of course the ones who live in the middle class, lower class across America. But the funny part is they decided to vote against their best interest at. Who's to be blamed? Who is to be blamed? So if you're questioning this, if you look at this video, you're looking at millions of Americans throughout the interview over the decade, ever since Obama left the presidency. When they're being asked whether they support Affordable Care Act, they'll say yes, they do support Affordable Care Act. And if they're asked, do you support Obamacare Act, they'll tell you no, we don't support Obamacare Act, forgetting that they are one the same thing. So what does that tell you? What is the reality? The reality is majority of Americans, millions of America, especially in the red state, are being misinformed about what is true and what is not true. So millions of America right now, they cannot afford insurance, because if they cut down on this program, families are going to suffer. Elderly people are going to suffer. People who are literally depending on this medicine, life support medicine, like people who are suffering on, sickle cell problem, maybe they have anemia or cancer diseases or other programs which are very delicate and very expensive to treat, and they're depending on this Affordable Care. When they do cut away on these projects because they want to save money, then these families are going to suffer. That is the reality. So what's going to happen to these millions of America? Because they're being told over 40 million Americans literally are depending on this Affordable Care Act. Who is to be blamed? Who is to be blamed? Because right now, if you look at families right now, they're complaining, they're coming in and say, yes, I voted for the current administration, but I didn't know that it's going to affect my health insurance. I didn't know that I'm going to suffer. So how am I going to take care of my children to the hospital? How am I going to afford these hospital bills if I don't have this Affordable Care Act? So who is to be blamed? That is the big question. Only time will tell whether the way people voted was the right thing or not. But one thing is for sure. When it comes to the election, know who you're voting for. When it comes to making those big decisions, do your research so that you know who you're voting for, who was your best interest at heart. Let me know what you think about this video, and please subscribe to my channel.